There are new reports claiming that Ignite is maliciously smearing Black Myth UV Break like Wukong UV Break because the game's developer, UV Break, a studio, refused to follow the politically correct guidance imposed by foreign countries, UV Break, and refused to pay a minimum of $7 million for the guidance fee. Therefore, Ignite has been smearing the game UV Break, and the same thing happened to Sword Stars. Black Myth UV Break Wukong is still 2 months away from its release. UV Break, and there are still many people who don't know the truth. UV Break stirring up the hype. UV Break, pure bandits collect protection fees and want to destroy others' works. UV Break and ruin their reputation. L Break, so guilty of cheapness.
It was supposed to be a continuation of God's work. UV Break, the original picture of Andrew Boda, was also a blonde white man. UV Break, it was because of the goddamn Sweet Bee blackmail production team. UV Break, that it later turned into a Southeast Asian face. UV Break with a strong Asian accent. UV Break, Nordic black people were funny and made up reasons to justify themselves. UV Break, Iron Forest was a 4-hour smelly and long process. I think there's a lot of protection money. UV Break, Capone, and UV Break and themes. OV Break and themes.
What Ignite thinks the game is under attack, but what actually happened. So top of the Steam expectation. I have a female friend who really likes to play action games very much. And I asked her what she thought. She believes that the traditional sense of daily masculinity guy or his femininity, sex certainly exists, but she really prefers to define and portray a person according to his unique preferences rather than simply and crudely attributing a person to the so-called mini male player guy or a female player guy. To put it bluntly, this thing is not so strongly related to gender, but is divided into experience, indulging in the low pattern of gender narrative. One leaf blind naturally cannot understand the internal logic of so many things, naturally cannot understand the bias of different game audiences, even not so limited to the field of game. Truly, I only just wanted to buy the standard edition, but now I want to buy the deluxe edition. Bring more players. UV Break. I find more and more that the difference between men and women, UV Break, is actually very small. UV Break, and it is actually very difficult to find it without actively showing it. UV Break, there are even some sayings. UV Break, the really cute ones are all boys. UV Break, and the wretched expression packages are all girls. UV Break, the same is true in the game. UV Break, women also like to play with the weapons. UV Break, men also like to match good-looking clothes, more so than gender. UV Break, there are differences in it, like close to zero. It's very break. What's to zero? So leave close to zero, and it's nothing. Harvest to zero. Does it true? I always thought that Black Myth would like roll over in a foreign country because of animal protection. As far as one question is concerned, UV Break is the statistical conclusion. UV Break, a stereotyped influence. What is a stereotype? UV Break, gunfight, fighting strategy, and other game players. UV Break, male players are far more than female players. And in the change of clothes, women develop into male players, far less than female players. So is this a stereotype, UV Break? I conclude from the data that most girls don't like the former and like the latter. UV Break, is this a stereotype? UV Break, and this is a stereotype. UV Break, don't worry about the reasons for this phenomenon.